But anyway, let's go ahead and work in order.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and talk about Anna. What's the update on the hospital
Oh,
bombing?
ooh.
Bombing in quotations, but that's what they're calling it.
It was an Israeli airstrike. Now, somebody from Netanyahu's team, they immediately came on to, I believe, Twitter and bragged. They said the IDF killed lots of terrorists, and that tweet disappeared really quickly. And then the IDF were like, we didn't do it. I don't know what you're talking about. That was Hamas. They set off a rocket and it failed. And so they were trying to say that this rocket caused the damage. Al Jazeera, which that's very much mainstream news, but they have a really great digital team. They took the video because they were live covering it. They time stamped it. They went second by second through it and caught not only that it was not the Hamas rocket, the Israeli defense system intercepted that and it completely blew up right in the air. So, no, that did not cause anything. It was 4 airstrikes the hour prior, and then one at about 7 p.m. local time, Palestine. And it killed over 500, mostly women, children, who were just trying to take refuge in this hospital. Because you would think, what are some of the places that they're not going to bomb? You would think a hospital would be up there because we hear a lot about that's against the Geneva Convention. And now we even have they'll burn a church. So it doesn't seem like there's anything the Israelis won't do. Now, when I say Israelis, I do mean the government. This is nothing against the people. It's just as much as we always say we reject Hamas, we reject what they stand for. And in fact, they don't really stand for many of the people alive there today. Many of the people were not even born when they were voted in. So this whole the bombing comes out. Israel immediately goes, no, we're not responsible. That was Hamas. Hamas goes, no. And so then we had 3 days of, what about? Well, what about? I don't know why somebody didn't look into the actual video feed earlier. Because, as we have stated before, Tel Aviv has a camera that has the Gaza Strip all on tape. They had it. Like I said, Al Jazeera had people on the ground. I have seen the video. I have seen the strikes come down, and it the narrative coming out of the way if you say anything against Israel, you are then for these Islamic terrorists, or as they said, Islamic jihadists. And that is just a really false equivocation. We are for humans. We're humanists. We don't want to see anybody suffer. And in the war, who is the people who suffer? Who are the people who suffer the most? The innocents, the civilians. It is absolutely, it is horrifying. But it was important that they got that on film so that they could break it down frame by frame. You know, where was everybody else doing that? How come we don't have a good digital analyzation team? Because everybody had a narrative going. But so if you want to see that video, it's on Al Jazeera on a lot of the different channels. The other thing I did want to bring up is there are a lot of Jewish people around the world who are saying, don't take my religion and excuse Zionism. It's not the same thing. Zionism was the for the creation of a Jewish state, which we now have, Israel. But now it is the to sustain Israel and protect it and build it up. There are so many Orthodox Jews, other I've heard from rabbis, I've heard from citizens alike that say we do not stand with Israel. In fact, our holy texts tell us that we should remain stateless until our Messiah comes down, because they do not accept Jesus or Muhammad as a Messiah. And it was amazing to me, 'cause I did not know that before a couple of days ago. There are so many people who are just they're waking up and going, we cannot continue to stand with people who bomb hospitals, who bomb churches, who bomb homes, who close off routes, but then say, get out, you know. It's the entire thing is insane. So no, that was not Hamas. That was not a rocket. That was a missile system from Israel.
What the report was saying, Hamas sent a rocket. It flamed out midair, and it dropped.
It was intercepted.
It hit the ground, and what you see was not it wasn't an explosion, but it was an explosion. Because, and trust me, I listened to it like 3-4 times. It didn't make sense to me, so I'm not messing this up. The explosion wasn't from a bomb. The explosion was from the unused fuel that was still in the rocket. It hit the parking lot where there was a bunch of cars and ignited the gas in those cars too. I'm trying to figure out if the rocket went up and it flamed out. Okay, sorry. Anyway.
So with limited fuel, tell me how these cars had full gas tanks.